Hi everybody, welcome to our 2020 virtual Boxwood classes. As most of you probably know, we usually love to teach the classes here in the store, but the year being what it is, we're not going to be able to do that. So Karen is here to teach you the class online, and the great thing about this is we're going to go at a regular pace because I know a lot of people have done it before, right? Probably many people have done it before, but feel free to pause us anytime. If you need to catch up, absolutely anytime. So without further ado, Karen, do you want to?
This is what, if you were to go online, you can order this kit. A couple different ways you can order it. You can order it with ornaments or without ornaments, just so you know. Some of you might want to do your own ornaments that you have at home, or maybe some of you even have ornaments from years past. So just keep that in mind. That's something that's a little bit different this year. Right here, this little tag is going to be how you care for your Boxwood tree after you make it. That will be on the outside. This right here will tell you what you need to start your class, and also where to find this video, which will be on our Facebook page, and it will also be on our website. But that information is all there just to make it super convenient. So basically what's going to come in the bag, of course, is your boxwood. If you order the ornaments, there's your ornaments, which I'm going to put off to the side because we're going to use those last.
And a quick note about the ornaments and the lights. I think the way we're going to do it this year, the way it should be on our website, is that you order the basic kit, and then you can have the add-ons of the lights and the ornaments. And the ornaments will be, you can choose silver, gold, or natural, 3 different styles. And we'll put some pictures up for you so you know what you're ordering.
We found this year, we're really excited about this really pretty festive new bowl. Basically a couple things about the boxwood. This, you will get it already saturated. It's wet. This is the good time though to instantly take your pitcher of water and fill it right up. Since there's no boxwood in there yet, it's nice and easy. And of course, this is something you're going to have to do maybe twice a week. Once you've made your boxwood and you have it out on your kitchen table or dining room table, wherever it is, you will have to do that. You know, I suggest bringing it over to the kitchen sink and using the kitchen sink to water it that way, and then letting it sit in the kitchen sink and drip dry. These lights, one thing that's worth mentioning too, is they are plug-in. So if you don't have a spot to plug it in where you see where you're putting it,
or you can enjoy it, yeah.
You don't need the lights either. So I am basically going to dump this all out, and I'm just going to start with one piece of boxwood, and I'm going to use this entire piece right from the beginning to the point where all I'm going to have is that big thick stem.
And one thing at home I think too is have your space ready, your shears handy, right when you say have everything ready to go, the water and everything, before you even unpack the bag. And
yes.
It'll just make it so much easier.
And of course, your glass of wine.
Your glass of wine. It's morning right now, so we're a little more on the water right at the moment, but you know.
And it's worth mentioning the store is open, so if you hear people or see people, that's why. But anyways, I'm going to start with just grab any old random piece of boxwood. I'm going to strip it down so that you have a nice clean piece, nice cut. I use my nails because I have these nails. I have my scissors just in case. And you want the first piece to be about, 4.5 inches long. And I'm going to do 4 pieces. And this is what I call the north, the south, the east, and the west.
And one thing I think you've told me about putting the boxwood into the foam, Karen, is that you want to clean off all the leaves that are going to be in the foam, and you want to make a nice, clean incision, for lack of a better word, insertion. And because you don't want to pull in and out and poke a lot of holes in the boxwood.
You want to just think about where you're going to put it. Your first couple of pieces, you don't want to put it at an angle. Some people want to put it at an angle. You actually want to put them straight in. You want to cover this, and you also want to cover your tape. So I'm going to continue using this piece right here and just taking some of these small pieces and going right around the rim.
And we should note that we weighed out the amount of boxwood that it takes our team to make a tree, and then we added some extra for at home because it's hard, it's harder to be efficient at home and people haven't made them as much, but really it's important to do what Karen's doing right now and make every piece count and really try to use as much of the boxwood as you possibly can.
So this is what I have left over from that first piece, and I have a few other small pieces, but I could even use that little piece. I'm just going to use and stick it right in. Grab my next piece and just keep going.
And this
Nice clean stem. That's okay, sorry. Nice clean stem and sticking it right in.
And this bottom row, I feel like, determines the maximum width of the bottom of the tree, right? So you're sort of establishing your outer ring with this.
How wide it is. Now you don't want to go out too wide. I'll take a measurement in just a second.
Right, if you go too wide, I feel like people don't get the nice cone shape and wind up with what we call a witch's hat here, if it's like too skinny at the top and too wide at the bottom. So you really are going for that nice upside down ice cream cone look.
So I'm going to measure it just for the sake of measuring it. And it's 10 inches wide.
Is that pretty perfect? Is that what you
That
usually go for?
looks pretty good to me. And then I just might look to see, to me it's a little sparse over here. And remember, you want to cover up your what we call your mechanics, which in this case would be the tape. And the extra tape I'll put around the bottom. Now you're not going to put any pieces in that are going to be longer than those first pieces. Everything that you put in from now is going to be, at the very least, the same, and then as we start working up, you're going to start making it a little bit shorter to get that cone shape. So this is a huge piece, so I'm going to start working on this. And remember, I have scissors here, but I just, I don't use the scissors, but feel free to use your scissors.
I feel like me too, if I were making this, I might want to lay out all my boxwood pieces first and just see what I'm working with, like some are larger, some are smaller, but not cut it up ahead of time because you want to be able to pick and choose, right? The certain pieces for certain spots.
At some point we're going to have to pick a nice piece for a topper.
Oh, right.
So like I might use that piece in my topper, but we're not quite there yet. I don't like to put the top on until a little further. But I think that might be the topper. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. But it's good to plan. I also tell people to not worry too much if it doesn't look perfect. And a spot that maybe doesn't look perfect is a good spot for an ornament, and that will make it look really pretty.
Yeah, that covers a multitude of sins.
Absolutely.
I also think one of the things that's nice when we do the classes in person is that we get to see everybody's tree, and everyone's looks a little different, and they all look good though.
Yep.
They all look really cool at the end. Like you get little bit different shapes, a little bit different approaches, but that's kind of the fun of it, is figuring out your way of doing it. And I know Karen mentioned how long lasting the boxwood is. They will last months and months. I mean, I think you always say, right, that you probably get sick of it before it actually dies. And sometimes if you take really good care of it and keep watering it, the boxwood will actually root inside the foam and kind of start growing, which is cool. It's almost like you got a plant.
I've had customers tell me they made it into, after Christmas they put like silver and wintry decorations.
Yep.
And then, Valentine's came and they put red decorations.
We've started making them in the store already. We're making them in pumpkins with like fall decorations, and people have been ordering them for people. People have them on their Thanksgiving tables and stuff, so they're pretty multi-purpose. The other thing about them is that they like to be kept cool. So the cooler you keep it, the longer it'll last. You don't, obviously display it where you want to see it, because the point is to enjoy it. But if you're, waiting to use it for Christmas, you could keep it out in the back porch, or even it can be outside. It can be below freezing. We've had these things outside and get snowed on and stuff. And that's the other thing too. If you have to, say you want to get the kit like around Thanksgiving when you're getting your Thanksgiving flowers, and take it home and do it over that long weekend, it's totally fine to just put that whole bag right out in the porch or something. The boxwood would be fine. And just bring it in if it's really cold. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but if it's really cold, bring it in a little bit before you want to use it, so it thaws and the boxwood isn't like stuck together, and the foam isn't too hard to poke into. But
Just let it thaw a little bit.
just let it thaw. Yeah, it'll stay fresh though a long time outdoors.
Boxwood is very durable.
Yeah. And all of this information is also will come with your kit, so you don't have to memorize these things. But I was thinking too that this might be a good thing for people to do with their kids, like the high school kids or even the elementary school kids,
Absolutely.
right? While they're home.
I did. I can remember for years.
You've
we
done it
did.
with
Yep.
your kids, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
I
always
have
right after
boys, they never
Thanksgiving.
went for the tree, but yeah. Lindsay's Noah might, though. I could see Noah making a tree.
Lindsay is
He's young
recording
enough.
this.
Lindsay's recording this. She's our MC and camera woman and stylist. We wish, right?
Yeah, really.
I wish for myself.
I think this year, too, the Boxwoods will be a really nice addition to the house because, of course, everybody's staying home so much more. People are also sending these, not so much the kits, but we sell the finished trees, of course, too. People are sending those to friends. I always get one for my dad. He's in assisted living. He can't have a tree in his room. He's just going to be there these holidays, so I think I'm going to send him one early. Karen, you got to make me one to send to my dad.
Okay.
Right?
Absolutely.
And he likes birds, so.
Oh, I'll put some birds in
The
it.
cardinals,
And that's
yep.
the other thing. You know, if you choose to not get the decorations that we have, you can do all kinds of decorations. Everything from, you know, natural, you know, nuts or walnuts, and clementines and cranberries,
That's always fun.
you know, to some antique ornaments that you might have in your house, you know, bows, pine cones that you forage, birds for your dad.
Yeah, totally.
Not live ones.
No.
Well,
That would be cool.
you wouldn't mind,
Yeah.
And also, even if you do, say you're doing like a silver theme this year, which is what we're doing just as a demonstration, you could get the silver ornaments from us and then add on to whatever you have, like silver stars or things, maybe even things the kids have made and stuff. So you can see, Karen, they're getting just a little bit shorter, aren't they? As
Yes.
you go up, you're just shortening slightly
Yep.
as you move up. And are you tilting them up a little bit at this point?
Just a tiny,
Just a
tiny
hair,
bit.
right? Yeah.
You know, and I'm stripping every piece pretty much off of any stem that I pick up. You know, and this is what's left over. That's what I'm throwing in the trash.
Stump.
Yeah, a little stem.
I also have talked to customers of ours who decorated these and used them as like a centerpiece and stuff for a holiday when, you know, where people or families over or whatever, and then afterwards maybe put the lights on and put it on a table in the living room or something. So they're pretty versatile.
Yeah, definitely.
And they travel well. You know, another thing I love about them is if you make one, say you want to make one for a friend or an elderly parent or, you know, somebody you don't get to see, this is the kind of thing you can just make it, take it, and leave it on their porch because whatever the weather, just
It
give
can
it some
take that
water in
cold
case
weather, yep.
they don't see it for a day or two. But it can really take the cold, so it's an easy gift. We've had a lot of people, business folks, buy a bunch of them and they'll just keep them in their car, and when they're going to see a client, they'll just drop it off on that day because you don't have to worry about leaving it in the car. Stuff very durable. I would say this is probably our most popular Christmas item, both for people to buy and for people to make. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, it's weird not doing the classes this year.
I know, we're gonna miss seeing everybody. That's kind of the fun of the season. That really like starts the holiday season for us, I feel.
Yeah. I agree.
And we weren't able to have our holiday open house either, obviously, so
And the things you learn about people in these classes.
you do,
Yes.
you really do. We get a little taste of people's personal lives and holiday traditions. We always ask whether people got their shopping done yet or not, right? I wonder if
Oh,
anybody's
yeah.
everything's going to be online this year, I would think.
Yes,
a lot.
yeah. No Black Friday.
Oh, right. Yeah, what's going to happen to Black Friday? That's a good question.
So now that I'm coming up to the top, I'm gonna stop putting it in at a little bit more of an angle than what I have done below, but still not huge.
And I always feel that the best trees are not like the largest, bushiest ones necessarily, but the ones with the best shape. Like what you're really, the hard work in this, and Karen obviously has so much practice and experience, she makes it look easy, but the challenge is to really get that beautiful cone tree shape.
I agree. So I'm gonna find. I think I like this piece for top. Looks nice.
You like that better?
Maybe I'll do this one.
So it seems like about this point you want to pick a nice
Yep.
tall piece, right?
So I'm gonna use this piece of the tight for the tallest point. I do have a ruler here just to help me guide, because this is actually the first one I've made all year. I want it to be about 18 inches tall. Oh, that works out perfect.
How did you stick it in? How did you know where to stick it in?
Right in the middle. You don't want to stick it in on top of the green tape that I use. I think you can see it better from that side.
I think it just wouldn't go in, right?
Yeah,
If you
it wouldn't
hit
go
the
in.
tape, yeah.
You know, we put the green tape askew. It's off to the side a little bit, so that goes right in the middle.
And about how far did you stick it in?
About an inch or so, because you want that to have. You don't want. That's a good point. I have a toothpick here. Let's pretend this is a stem of flower, a stem of this boxwood. You want to, only stick it in maybe a half inch or so in most cases. In this one, I stuck it in about an inch just because it's a taller piece, it's a little bit bigger. But keep in mind that you don't ever want to take this, pretend it's a stem, and put it all the way through so that it comes out the other side. Like imagine if I just went right through and it came out the other side. Or you don't want to put it so that it's barely in, because then it will fall out. So it's about, in 90% of the cases, it's about an inch. Now you can just start filling in right at the top if you want to. Any small pieces I have might end up going down around where I finished off, where I left off is maybe a better word.
I think earlier, Lindsay, you were trying to signal me to ask a question that people might have. Did we get to it? Do we feel like we're...
I was just gonna say how don't forget you can pause at any time.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
yep. We just remind everybody pause whenever. Yep.
Pause
need to
to
catch up.
refill your glass of wine or have a little snack,
Yep.
or pause just to, catch up.
Yep.
It's the beauty of it this year. You can't get behind because you can always just pause and watch some
Exactly.
more.
Exactly. We didn't want to do it too slowly and try to go at your pace as we would if we were in an in-person class and could see what everybody's doing, because you have total control over this. You can just keep up or not. And gosh, I think we've had people that have been doing these classes with us
Oh,
for
yeah.
like 7 or 8 years
Yeah.
who could totally teach the class at this point. Maybe they're teaching to their friends right now. I've heard some people who want to do Zoom Boxwood classes together. So
Yep. Which just sounds fun.
it does sound fun. We're learning new ways to get together. This could be the new holiday tradition. It's amazing how the minute you put that top piece in, it became a tree.
It looks
to me.
like a
Like
tree.
it looks like a tree. Yeah. Now, are you putting some slightly taller pieces around the top?
Around
there
the top
sort
just
of-
to
yeah.
fill it in a little bit.
Okay.
And then once again tapering off to where I left off at the, more towards the bottom, but obviously the top part of the bottom. Let me try it. Is that better?
I feel like this year has really challenged us all to do some different things and learn some new hobbies and skills and stuff, and also to go outside more. And I feel like the Boxwood Tree is like the perfect symbol for Christmas 2020. It's something you make by yourself in your house, but it's natural and it's alive. Well, yeah, it's alive. I think people very often think it's a plant that's just been shaved into this shape, and it's
Yeah.
actually kind of the opposite of that. It's just all natural clippings.
Yep, and we make it into this shape.
Yeah, exactly. So at this point, would you start turning it around and looking maybe for little holes, that might be there?
Yep,
Yeah.
I have still a spot over here that I need to fill in. But that's a good advice, which I don't think we've said, is especially when you start from the bottom and work your way up, just start turning and like keep turning it so that you can see all sides of it. If you have a Lazy Susan in the house, you could definitely use it. That would definitely help you. You know, of course, you don't have to, but it would help. So I'm almost done filling in. You know, and then of course I'll go back and double check
And where you're at home this year, and you're not here for us to come running with the Boxwood bag and stuff, like this is Karen's gonna have a little bit left over. She's very efficient though, but you're gonna have to try and be careful and not start out too big, right? Because if you start out huge,
Too big,
you're gonna get to
you
the
may be
end
short,
and
yeah.
find out that you don't have enough boxwood.
And I know in times past we told people to, you know, throw everything in the floor, but this is a good time. You know, if you came to the class, we always joked about making the floor dirty. Obviously, you don't want to do that at home, but it's also makes you more efficient. You know, it's holding that piece in your hand until it pretty much is just a stump.
I think too, the nice thing about being at home is you can really take your time, and if you need to go answer the door, go to the restroom, get a cocoa, whatever, you just
cocoa
pause.
sounds good.
And doesn't that sound good? And just do that, and then come back. Like, you know, you could do it even over the course of many hours if you wanted to, if you needed to stop and start.
So now I'm just going to start filling in any places. Like, just let me put that piece there. It looks a little light, a little bit of a hole. Do have extra. Got a hole right there too.
And one thing that's very important with the boxwood trees that we always tell, or Karen really always tells people, is that you want to really try to work that shape by doing what she's doing now and filling them with these pieces. You don't want to, when we get to the end, try and shear it to make the cone shape, right?
Yeah, because if you think about it, you might want to come in close, Lindsay. You'd think it would be easier if we just would take a pair of scissors and cut it, but look at all those open sores that we have now, for lack of a better word. All that's going to dry out. All those leaves are going to die and turn brown. So I don't encourage that. Now, if there was a piece bothering me, you know, I might go back in and cut it right above a leaf, but not to cut through a leaf. But I hardly ever do that. That's, you know, too labor intensive for us to do it. But I try to avoid doing it at all costs. A big no-no is to take a pair of scissors to it.
Yeah, the beauty of it and the beauty of learning the craft is gaining these skills where you turn it, you look for these holes, and you just fill in and make it as even as possible, piece by piece.
This is about what I have left. A few other little pieces. So I'm just going to keep. See,
Yeah,
there you go.
You see a little spot.
It's a big hole.
I didn't want to mention it, but
So I think I'm close to being done.
looks nice and full.
You know, and if it doesn't look perfect, if there is a little indentation as a result of where you place the boxwood, then that's where an ornament's going to go. You know, and that's totally fine.
One thing I noticed too is that Karen does this a lot, like she said, with her hands and her nails. But sometimes when you break the boxwood, it doesn't break cleanly. Like you get like a little tear with bark hanging off. You don't want to try and push that in because it's going to make a wide hole. So that's why occasionally she'll pick up the shears.
Yep, a nice
make
clean
sure it's a
break,
nice
yeah.
clean cut.
And sometimes the stem is just too big. All right.
There we
I think
go.
we're good. Got a few leftovers. This is something called Leaf Shine. It's an all-natural spray that we use on a lot of plants. Anything green. We use it on living plants, but it works really well in the boxwood. You guys can't do this at home because we, you know, We actually tried to find little cans to see if we could do them, but we couldn't. So we are going to spray the boxwood before we put it in the bag, but
Okay.
we just wanted to show you here the big difference it makes.
It's basically an oil coating. It's a natural oil, and it helps keep the moisture in. It'll help keep the tree from drying out over time. And it'll be done, like Karen said,
Yes.
already once, and once is enough. It's not something you need to reapply. So.
But it does brighten it right up. It makes the foliage look nice and shiny and pretty.
It hogs up the room.
Yeah.
You won't have this. It'll be good.
No. And at this point, you can, we're going to have a little Ziploc bag full of ornaments. Oh, I just flung one.
I'll get it, Lindsay.
Sorry, Lindsay, throwing things at you.
It's all good.
Oh, yeah. You're right, the lights go first. Thank you, Lindsay. There is an extra pair of lights in case one goes out.
Oh yeah, they give you that spare
An extra
bulb.
bulb, yeah.
You to hold it on so you stretch. Yeah. It's where the family comes in. You can call them in to help stretch out your lights.
We're gonna start. I start at the bottom.
And make sure the plug end is at the bottom.
Yep, leaving what.
Made that mistake before.
And I like to do it a little tight so that the actual wire kind of hides in there. Because it can be a lot of wire for the boxwood trees.
Where they are small.
It's one of those things. We looked at 20 string lights. Those were too little. So I like to tuck the wires in a little bit, just so that we don't see them.
Look how glossy it looks.
Yep. It does look so pretty. And there's some extra cords that you do have some room to plug it in wherever you need to plug it in. Most of these have picks on them, so they can stick right into the oasis, just like we've been doing.
And I think we won't send out anything this year that doesn't have an easy pick
Correct.
situation. We're not going to send anything
Yep.
you have to wire yourself.
I do all the same things at once. So we had 3 of those picks that had the red bow on them. Now I'm going to do all the ones with the silver, that are just all silver. Good time to turn. And then we have some silver presents. And you can tell when it hits the oasis. You can feel it hit the oasis, and that's when it becomes secure. Maybe a little pine cone. That must have fallen off. Just gonna tuck that right in. And there you go.
Is that cord plugged in? Maybe we could.
I'm afraid to stop moving things.
I know. We're in John's workspace, and we've really taken over here for a few minutes.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh.
I'm so glad John had a cord at the ready. Thanks, John. Turn it.
Turn it.
Lindsay's a good director, I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, that's the good side right there.
That's the side. That's the money shot.
Yeah.
I just can't keep turning it. A little bit more.
Right there. Good stuff.
And I've done that at like my mother-in-law's house too. There's always one side that I like the best. So I'll make sure that's the side that's facing out. She has a little corner table, and you can face out and see all the lights. Oh, I love the way you did the lights too. It's a lot of light. It's good.
Looks pretty.
Yeah, it looks really pretty.
So this will last right through the holidays. It's one of those things, if you want to do it right after Thanksgiving. How many weeks in between Thanksgiving and Christmas is there this year? Is there
I think
5?
no,
Is it
4.
4? Is it only
Yep,
4?
I think Thanksgiving's on the 26th, so it's exactly a month later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you
you're right.
could easily do it. I mean, it might be a nice activity for Thanksgiving weekend if people are home from college, or You know, if you're around family, fun little together activity.
Yeah, I think we'll be staying away from the malls a little bit, so something like this would be great.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I hope everyone has wonderful holidays. If you have any questions about this that we didn't answer in the video, feel free to email us, give us a call, and we're happy to help guide you through it. But we hope we made it straightforward and easy for you.
And please take pictures of the ones that you made and tag them up, and put it on Facebook and tag us in it so that we can see the end results.